You fight them.
Okay, I'll do my best. Hey, welcome to the Great Goaty Hunt. I'm Leo Vader. Serial Vasquez is with me.
Hello, Excelsior.
Excelsior! That's not cool, man. He's dead.
Oh, sorry, Bazinga.
Thank you. Alive and kicking, the Bazinga guy. We're playing Marvel's Avengers today. We're about 2 hours into the game's rich campaign.
Which has been, it's been surprising so far. It's not as bad as I was expecting, which I think seems to be the consensus from a lot of people. Yes.
We all got it in our heads that this may be some disaster, but I think the easy takeaway a couple hours in is it's fun.
Yeah, it seems like totally serviceable. And like the story beats are like the thing that's been the best for me so far, which is not what I was expecting my takeaway to be.
Interesting. Yeah, there's been a good bit of story. I've skipped some of it in the effort to get to the co-op stuff for this stream. But what's the story setup at this point so far?
So if I'm sure people probably watched that E3 stream, but it's really not too far past that, where basically the Avengers try to stop an invasion from AIM, I think it is, to destroy this thing called the Terrigen crystal, which is like supposed to be a new power source, and then it blows up, kills Captain America, rest in peace.
Rip.
And it causes basically what happened in the Marvel Universe back in like 2014, which was this huge explosion of these things called these people called Inhumans, which are people who gain a new power because of this like explosion versus a mist in the comics. And Kamala is one of them. Kamala Khan is one of the people affected by it. She becomes an Inhuman, and this is 5 years after that demo, the section where the Avengers fail and Cap dies. And so now she's on this mission to basically revive the Avengers, and she's on the helicarrier that crashed to uncover some secrets.
Hell yeah.
And so it turns out there's robots here.
And you fight them.
Yeah, so the robots aren't nice, as you can see, so you have to fight them. Which, one thing that tripped me up about this is that when they're teaching you the game and they're telling you, hey, you can dodge out of the way of blue indicators, those indicators look white to me. They don't look blue. So they're telling you to like dodge these blue indicators, but I was waiting for like the first time you're playing as Black Widow and they tell you to dodge out of the way of the blue indicators. I was waiting for the blue indicator to pop up, but all I was seeing was the white ones. So I was like, okay, I'm waiting for my moment. And then, I had to realize that the indicator is white to me, which is weird. It just makes me think, am I colorblind, or are they just like did the color thing just not work for me? But that was a weird moment.
Yeah. Or is it the game's gamma settings? You screwed up so badly.
Well, I mean, they did turn into the Hulk. My PS4 turned into the Hulk at some point because the gamma settings were so off.
That'd be a fun Easter egg if you turn the gamma all the way up. Every character's a Hulk. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Thanks, ENT Clark, for the big sub. This is PS4 Pro.
Yeah.
We are playing on PS4 Pro.
Which they have like a performance and resolution scaler, and I've been using the performance mode, and that seems to be working okay. It definitely looks inconsistent, but I haven't turned it back to 4K. But I'm thinking I might just go 4K just because I would prefer a consistent 30 over like a really hitchy higher frame rate.
Yeah, totally. Never mind locking a frame rate.
Yeah.
You ask me.
So we are probably going to talk over some of these story bits, but she's basically looking around the Avengers area of the helicarrier, looking for signs of life, but also finding a bunch of like cool Avengers artifacts. Because one of the things that defines Ms. Marvel in the comics is that she is someone who grew up on comic book superheroes. She's like a huge fan of them. She takes her namesake from her favorite hero, who was Ms. Marvel, and then became Captain Marvel. So she's like the fangirl who gets to live the dream in a lot to ways.
Right.
So she's like geeking out of
stakes.
Yeah. And then eventually becomes a superhero, right? And then not to like spoil anything, but she becomes an Avenger, right? Because that's the name of this game. She's one of the playable characters. So she's like geeking out over stuff.
I thought they were her. She like led the team, and that's why it's called Marvel's Avengers.
Did he plan to come
You
back?
know, I hadn't thought of that before, but you know, I could totally see why someone who did not know. I wonder if that's intentional. That feels almost intentional,
It's
but
very silly. I wonder why The Last of Us' main character wasn't named Naughty Dog.
Wasn't there a character called Sony Interactive Entertainment Presents?
Oh yeah, dude, his death was tragic. God, nightmares about that one. So this game doesn't beat you over the head with the waypoint, which I like. It goes for having the button you can press to be reminded where you need to go.
Yeah, which is cool because then you get to explore a little bit without them reminding you. But then when you're like, okay, I want to, keep going.
Yeah, if
But
you gotta have a waypoint, I think that's the way to do it.
Looks better than you might expect.
Sharp, guys.
Too. And I guess I wasn't prepared because they've mentioned in like marketing materials that Kamala Khan is going to help put the Avengers back together, but I had always assumed that was going to be like a prologue section where it's just like maybe like an hour where she's talking to all the Avengers saying you gotta avenge again, don't let Cap's death ruin you or whatever. But I'm surprised by how much of a Miss Marvel game this has been so far.
Yeah, how far into it are you?
I'm a little further past this, not super far, but I've gotten to the point where I can start running missions co-op. But
Don't need to brag.
so far, I've only played like outside of that opening section. I've only played as the Hulk and Miss Marvel. So it is her, kind of doing what you would assume, which is putting the team back together. But like so far, you're getting a lot of Miss Marvel, which I'm really happy to see. She's like one of, if not my favorite superhero. So it's really cool that this is like, in a way, like a stealth Miss Marvel game, which I was not expecting, which I'm really surprised by.
Yeah. It's Major Panda says, so at some point the Avengers will assemble. Please keep spoilers out of chat.
Well, you can't, that's like saying does X character die? Don't spoil anything though.
Yeah.
But as far as I have been in, they have not yet assembled.
Okay.
After disassembling. Yeah, but I think my surprise at like how much of a story-based game this is also like it's starting to come in conflict with whenever this game wants to be like the service game kind of Destiny-esque game. I feel like that stuff feels weird because, for example, you're doing basically the same thing that I was doing in this fight, which is play it safe and throw rocks from a distance, which does not seem like a very Hulk thing to do.
No.
It's like, oh, I got to keep my distance and throw rocks at him so like I can safely attack him. But it's like whenever it's trying to like, hey, you have all these like different elements and you're getting gear, but it's not visible. Like it feels really like that part of it, like the loot grind aspect feels very like it's conflicting with their desire to tell this like narrative cinematic kind of thing.
Yeah. We can look at some of the gear here.
Yeah.
Right now I'm running some nanites that let my light combo finishers deal gamma damage. Now, Cyril, what's going on with that next boost thing?
So basically, like instead of infusing items, you can use these resources you find during missions to just boost them, to give them extra power levels, and so that'll make them stronger. But I think if my instincts from Destiny hold over, you probably don't want to do that too much until you've reached the end game.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they're going to put you in a situation where you're going to be under-leveled just by playing the campaign missions.
Right. Well, I'm ignoring your advice and doing it real quick.
Okay, great. Just to show the people.
Just to show the people what it feels like to do it. As you can see, it's changed one of these numbers probably. I wasn't paying too close attention.
And as people in the chat are pointing out, it's going to be real fun to talk about the Avengers Endgame.
That's probably where they got the idea for this whole damn thing.
Yeah.
Damn, that's good.
Hey, our game should have an end game.
Well, first off, they heard the word game and they said, whoa, what if there's an Avengers game?
Quick, Crystal Dynamics, put this together.
Fart this out. I'm just kidding. They worked on this for a very long time. There's a thing called the Avengers Initiative in this game that is some of that end game repeatable content, right? That's kind of the pitch for it.
Yeah. I think that's I think once you play through the campaign, I think that's where you'll log in basically instead of going to the campaign to do like repeatable missions and stuff. Where I think it'll probably be easier to join missions and stuff because I think in the campaign menu it's like they just want you to go to the next Avengers mission versus like try to matchmake with randoms and stuff. But I think in the campaign it might just be an invite only thing, but it's possible people can just randomly join your missions if you turn matchmaking on. But obviously I haven't delved too far into it because this has been a weird thing because we didn't get access to the game until people who bought the deluxe edition got access, which I guess is fair. You know, it's like a server-based game, so they're not gonna we basically had access as soon as the servers went live, so that means people were already in. And there's no embargo, so I guess technically if someone were to have beaten the game, they can just talk about it.
Well, the other thing about the Avengers Initiative is it takes place after the campaign, and when you boot it up, it says, hey, there's spoilers for the end of the campaign here. Is that cool?
Yeah, there's one big one right up front, but if you've been following this game, you probably already know it, but it would have been easier for us to find a game that way, but we didn't want to spoil it for folks.
Even though you know what the spoiler is.
Yeah, if you can guess, your first guess is probably right as to what the spoiler is.
Yeah.
But for posterity's sakes, don't mention it in the chat just in case.
Yes, for sure. We didn't want to show it because we didn't want to risk people caring about it more than we might expect.
Yeah.
These characters are important to people, Suriel. The mighty Hulk.
I mean, he is pretty mighty. But yeah, in the lead up to this, I actually started. I'd read some Miss Marvel, and then I basically got a Marvel Unlimited subscription and started reading a bunch of her stuff. So I was pre-gaming for this quite a bit, and between this and how much of a between reading a bunch of Miss Marvel and then seeing how much of a Miss Marvel game this has been so far, I've been getting a lot of her, and she's a really cool character, and I'm surprised how much they're able to delve into kind of her story, which is cool. Like I said, I enjoy her a lot, so I'm really surprised that this is the Miss Marvel game that I kind of wanted so far.
Well, it's a Hulk game now.
Yeah, that is true. This is not Miss Marvel, in case you were curious. One thing that has been weird is that I think they made a big deal about the not celebrity, but like the number of they made a big deal out of the names involved in this game in terms of voiceover stuff. Like they have Troy Baker, Nolan North. I think Jennifer Hale is Black Widow. One of they have like a number of famous actors, and I feel like so far I found them more distracting than like anything else. Where it's just like, oh, it's Nolan North, Troy Baker doing their thing, but it just happens to be as Bruce Banner.
Yeah, Troy Baker is doing a little more than Nolan is.
Yeah.
I think doing a little more of a voice. He's kind of doing a more timid, shy performance of Bruce Banner. A little more high pitched, but you can still tell it's Troy Baker, and I don't know. It's not a reason not to cast these people, but I agree. It does pull me out of it sometimes.
I'm not sure who voices Miss Marvel, but she's doing an okay. Like the thing about her is that like she is meant to be kind of a little excitable, but I guess the degree to which she is selling that excitement has kind of changed a little bit of how I feel about the character. Whereas I think in the comics it comes off as endearing whenever she's really excited about something, whereas here like something about the delivery kind of sells it a little bit as cornier than it is in the comics.
Yes.
Where she's like, okay, like at some point, like when she's freaking out about all this stuff, it gets to be a little much in the game. But I think a lot of it has to do with like I was just imagining the character in my head doing it in a way that wasn't specific. So it just feels like, okay, here's a good version of that delivery that I don't have any like idea of what that sounds like. But hearing someone voice those lines, I think kind of changes the view of the character.
I do want to talk about that and talk about the writing, but real quick first, thank you, chat, pointing out it's Laura Bailey as Black Widow. Jennifer Hale is Maria Hill.
Okay. Which you do
Yeah, but I think overall the writing has been very Marvel-y. It's been very like these characters are making one-liners for the viewer's benefit.
Yes, I would totally agree with that. Where a lot of the dialogue feels like let's rope you into how fun this is to see.
Right. Like when the first time you fight somebody as the mighty Thor, you destroy them, and he says, "I guess you weren't worthy." Which is like, if that's the first thing we see Thor say for hitting a bad guy, he must be saying that hundreds of times. Or is that the first time he thought of it was on A Day?
Yeah, which is weird because that moment is also like the first time you see the idea that like, okay, in order to buy into this game, you have to sort of suspend your disbelief at the fact that someone getting hit with Mjolnir would survive. Like some random guy getting whacked in the head with Thor's hammer would just be like, I'm gonna get up from that one, like, because they're just fighting like regular guys. They're not even robots at that point.
At that point, yeah.
Yeah, it's just basically what, evil SWAT guys or whatever. But like he's taking 2 or 3 hits to kill them, or knock them out, incapacitate them, whatever the game is telling you. But it's very weird to see like, well, this has to be a game about damage numbers and DPS and stuff. So you can't just like roll over these guys that easily.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if we ever see human enemies in the war zones and the end game stuff. Because like playing as Black Widow, which you only do briefly in the prologue against a boss, her ranged attack is guns.
The cure.
Yeah,
is shoot bullets.
Yeah.
I mean,
So if you go up against human enemies, it's her.
real, but
I feel like she's maybe going to be the least played character because she seems like the most grounded and kind of boring. Whereas I think every other character has a cool thing they can do.
Yeah.
Like Miss Marvel's ranged attack is like she just basically
looks like
launches her fist really far. Hulk gets to throw a rock. Iron Man has his lasers. But Black Widow's just like, I've got guns. That's my power.
Yeah.
Is
She's
gun.
got the grapple thing.
Yeah,
Grapple in
which
and
is
kind of
cool.
counter enemies, which is cool, but definitely the
I figured if I could just
slowest playing. I do like a lot of the
just
ranged
win
moves
that
though.
fan
Like that's my
fiction
favorite
competition,
thing
then everything would just
about Kamala and about the Hulk is like her throwing her hand out as a ranged projectile pretty much, and Hulk being able to
look at me.
either pick up a piece of rubble out of the ground
Freak.
and throw it, or pick up an enemy and swing them around and throw them at another enemy a mile away. That's been my
another
favorite
cool
part.
another cool thing is that you can upgrade the her ranged attack to act as like a grapple when you kill someone. So if the punch kills them, she can grab them and kind of swing them around and hurt other enemies with them, and then throw at the guy she's caught. And that seems like that. Okay, that's a cool upgrade that I purchased, and I like that you can spec a little bit. I'm curious to see like the tech trees. They seem like there's a lot of tech trees, but none of them are very deep. So I'm wondering how long this ends up being. I've seen people who have already beaten the campaign, but I don't know how much, like what level that takes you to, and how much of the end game stuff you want to see, or you have to see before you level up to max and stuff.
It will be. I mean,
Okay.
look at it.
Yeah.
It's
Seems like most of that end game stuff will be in the gear rather than in the
good.
Yeah, thanks.
skill tree,
I'll
because
go
there aren't
Yeah.
any nodes that are like put
do
100 points into
other
this,
things.
like in a Assassin's Creed Odyssey or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's once you unlock a thing that is it. It's not like upgrade this 5 times to take it from 10 to 50% or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is cool. But maybe that's another tech tree at some point. But we are missing out some of the story stuff. But this is cool. Like because basically Banner was very hesitant about doing anything that wasn't just staying there because he was at the hearing where they kind of more or less outlawed superheroes. I don't remember if it's explicitly that, but he said that the Avengers are a danger to society, and so they had to disband. And so he's kind of like, we shouldn't use our powers to help people because it's dangerous. And so now he's been living in the helicarrier, and Kamala is the one who found him. And so now they're kind of getting they're starting to spin the wheels to get the Avengers back online.
The Avengers.
The Avengers.
Huh.
They who
I
avenge.
should go talk to Bruce.
They who avenge. How does it feel distinct from the MCU to you? How well does it accomplish that, or how much is it trying to be that?
Well, Miss Marvel's in it for one. But
Yep.
they do feel somewhat inspired by the MCU. I think like the more kind of militaristic take on Cap's armor for one, like in the intro, is definitely like, okay, this is inspired by the MCU.
Hey, Bruce.
But it feels like it's a little step back because this is like the standard Avengers template that we're taking from like the earlier Marvel movies, whereas now there are so many other heroes introduced, and like this character dynamics are so different and evolved that this feels like they're taking a step back.
Yeah. Interesting.
But
I think MCU has been
Here goes nothing.
one of those things
Good afternoon, Dr. Banner.
like Harry Potter, where I like the universe maybe more than the individual parts.
Super awesome computer
And I think
power.
that
Oh,
might
I'm
be
just a
something that this
rather
game
very
has
intelligent
for me,
system.
the way that the Harry
Advantage
Potter
mediums.
games did, is like, oh, I just want to be
Con.
here.
But you
I don't
can
want to
Sure.
watch
come
somebody
on.
try to impress me with their writing. I don't want to watch somebody
going
else
on?
beat up 1,000 CGI
Wasn't getting
ghouls.
the power.
I want to do it
Right.
The system
myself.
is on emergency lockdown.
yeah,
I'm enjoying it so far, more than I expected.
Looks like I tripped the security.
yeah, it's weird. I'm curious to see how they kind of scale up the conflicts, because right now it's a lot of robots, which is fine. But like after as someone who's been reading some of the comics, like AIM is so far down the chain of like threat level of like, oh, here's a powerful enemy we're fighting or whatever, whereas a lot of the stuff that I've been reading is just like, oh, we're fighting against celestials and like gods basically,
Yeah,
or whatever,
right.
just people who can fundamentally destroy the universe.
Get him, Black Widow!
Yeah, exactly. So like AIM is like, oh, it's like some rich guy with a bunch of robots isn't like doesn't really rank to some extent, but
How the heck am I supposed
so I'm curious to see if that's just the whole point of this game, and maybe in the next game they scale things up. But I guess it
Or,
works
I mean,
as like
Yep, in DLC, in like,
yeah, like story expansions and stuff. Yeah, I'm curious to see how this works in co-op, because like that the combat seems fine. It doesn't seem like the thing you're gonna come back to this game for, which maybe is a larger point we can maybe talk about at some point. But I'm curious to see like what cooperation looks like, of like, oh yeah, we beyond like, oh, we both happen to be punching this guy, so we got a really long combo on him and he died faster.
Wow, we killed that guy.
Yeah. I do like though that there are 6, I think. No, wait. There are 5 that we know of playable characters, and 4 slots. So at least like if Black Widow ends up being really boring for everyone, you don't necessarily have to play as her. But like, if there's a hero people don't like, you don't have to play as. And you always have a choice, right? You're never locked into.
This is easy.
All right. Well, I was the last to join this party, and everybody else already picked their character. So I guess I'm Black Widow.
Yeah.
Not to harp on, but like, I haven't played as her yet, so maybe she's like the most fun character.
Nice.
But
Didn't think it could actually be a
you at least always have some degree of choice.
Not that I'm a real
And you can level them all up at the same time. It's not a Destiny thing where you have to make a brand new save file effectively to like level up different classes. You don't have to go through, at least through the campaign, you're not like leveling them all up individually. So I'm guessing once you get to the later characters, they'll be more or less evenly leveled with everyone you're playing as,
Yeah, I would think.
which is cool.
That is another thing I like about it. At least the early parts of the campaign, you're kind of jumping between characters,
Nice work.
which is what I always wanted.
Okay, Jarvis, let's
Was
find
like
Tony.
a AAA Lego Marvel superheroes,
Jarvis?
right? Where there's just
Searching.
100 playable characters with different
Hold on.
powers
Yeah.
in an open world.
Something is wrong, Doctor.
Yeah, it
And
does
that-
seem pretty.
That game is just such a little version of that idea, with Lego graphics and Lego controls.
Yeah. The stakes feel very small. Like that was one of the reasons I was excited about Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. That it felt like that game, not open world, but the idea that you just have so many, like you can just be whatever hero you want. Like they're maybe all a little more interchangeable, but you can at least,
Knows what happened to Director
have
Fury.
Black Panther, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, whoever you like. Just being able to, theory craft your favorite combination is pretty cool. And obviously
Yeah.
they can't do that here because the budget is a lot higher.
In your favorite outfits.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, and that's another thing about the game is that like all the gear is mostly stat based, and they split up the cosmetic aspect and the gameplay aspect, where you can have all this gear, but it's like one of her things is like one of Kamala's things is like, oh, my shirt, but it's like the same shirt no matter which one you equip. It's just like this one has like this one gives me 3 valor instead of 2 resolve, but it's all like none of it changes her appearance. But you unlock, I think, as you maybe complete challenges or work your way through the campaign, you unlock different outfits for them.
The game wants me to show me doing that. It reminded me.
It said, show your viewers.
Change shirt. Yeah.
You've been wearing that one for the last 4 days. Please, I'm begging you.
Smell bar maxed out.
We'll give you a daily loot bonus if you go shower.
Look at that boost. Look at these power numbers going up and up.
Yeah, which in a way, like I can't necessarily fault them too much for it, because it's like, okay, yeah, you don't want a bunch of mismatched gear when I think the character's look is so intrinsic to who they are. That's kind of one of the things that was weird about Injustice 2, is that you just created all these weird combinations of gear, unless you like transmogrified it all and said like, I want it to look like this one set because that's the set that looks good. Otherwise, it's like, here's this thing that's supposed to be really spiky, but this other set that I had that is better is round. So I don't fault them for that, but you definitely get the sense that some of these systems feel like, okay, we took a regular kind of action game that was based around the Avengers, and then we layered on top of that this like loot grind aspect.
I think
what
will make or break it for me for sure is if there's enough fun progression to do for the cosmetics, or if it's like how they split up gameplay versus battle pass stuff or whatever. As long as it feels still fair and like that's a fun additional line of progression instead of like something that's not getting progressed satisfyingly fast.
Yeah. I think I'm not crazy about the combat. It's not bad, but it just seems like, okay, I don't know if I like this enough to stick with it for as long as the game is setting itself up to like make you want to do that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I don't know if I want to do like, okay, I want to do the same mission over and over again on harder difficulties to get better loot. Like, and that's the excuse you have for continuing to do the combat, right? Versus like, because even when Destiny was like not great in like 2014, the thing that people got out of it was like, oh, like, you know, there's not a ton to do, but doing whatever it is fun, because like the shooting in this game just feels so good.
Sure.
I don't know if this is at that level, you know, which is a hard bar to clear for sure, but you kind of have to have that for all the other like progression pieces to fall into place.
Yeah. I agree. Is this where I can invite you now?
It might be. I can switch over to my other monitor, but feel free to invite me and I'll see if I can't hop on.
I'm getting the error. Oh my god, this is the battle pass. They have battle passes for every hero, apparently. They call them challenge cards.
Yeah.
But these aren't like seasonal, right? This isn't going to go away.
I don't know, but I guess I'll have to find out.
Anyway, we'll try and squat up here. But it says I can't invite you unless I'm in multiplayer content.
Oh, weird.
And
but then why does it's weird that they give you that prompt, but then they don't they give you the like, hey, you should invite somebody, and then they're like, you can't invite somebody, actually, never mind. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Or is it just because this is a single player only campaign versus the Avengers Initiative is 1 to 4 player? Can you just not do the campaign co-op?
I wonder. Yeah, that does. I wonder if I can. I wonder if now I can, because this is like the first mission you can select from a map, right?
Yes.
Okay, so my game crashed, but once I get back in, I guess you can either try doing that mission, and maybe I can join you. Because if you have multiplayer enabled, it says like, oh, people might be able to join your strike team.
Right.
So I don't know what the rules of multiplayer are. It seems like every game just reinvents the rules about how joining people during games works.
Yeah. Did you know this was here the entire time?
Absolutely not. I swear.
But yeah, there's like the writing, I think, and the characters, I think, have been the highlight for me so far, which is cool. Like, I guess, you know, if I don't necessarily want to add another like long tail game to my life, I think the fact that at least the campaign has been good so far is, you know, good.
Yes, in a word.
So it doesn't feel like it's just a tutorial for like the multiplayer.
I think I sent you an invite.
Okay, let me check my invites. I have received an invitation.
It's happening!
Okay. Hold on. Waiting to assemble.
Waiting to assemble. Stand by for assembling. Select hero and companions.
I think companions just like who... I think this might only be a 2-person mission, but I think your choices here are the Hulk or Miss Marvel.
Right.
Also, the loading screens are another...
They are long.
issue. Yeah.
There will be like chase sequences, and if you fall off the edge real quick, it's easily 20+ seconds before you get back into it. It completely breaks the like momentum.
Yeah. Okay, well, it kicked me to the war table, but I'm going to try to accept your invite again.
Okay, let me know if you want another one. I got them full of them, baby.
All right, I'm joining you now. I went into a loading screen, got to the war table, which is like the area you're at, and then I went to join you, and now it's giving me another load screen.
We love that. We love that. What's weird
This
is
feature-
this is out for console today and PC on Friday, I think.
Yeah, it's like a weird early access thing. So if you have the deluxe edition, you can play now.
Oh.
But it gave me a fail to join session. This feature is disabled until multiplayer has been unlocked.
What?
Which is a bummer. So I don't know if that's on your end or mine, but I wonder if, I don't know if I've unlocked multiplayer at this
Why
point, which is
give
so
me this
weird.
big invite player? But
Yeah, I think at some point you just get it, but yeah, it's such a weird thing. You can play and maybe I can try
joining
inviting
mid.
you.
In the middle, yeah.
Okay.
Well, do I want to play as Miss Marvel or Hulk? I think I'm gonna play as Hulk. Since you like Miss Marvel so much.
Yeah, I do like her a lot. But Hulk's fine because he can he's just grabbing dudes and throwing them around. You almost don't have to worry about your health so much. I haven't had too much trouble dealing with enemies as the Hulk. But I definitely I like the more nimble characters because it just the controls for those characters are always more responsive. Even if you don't want to be super fast and dodgy as the Hulk, it always feels better to be okay, if I move out of the way of this, I'll be able to do it.
This guy joined my party and I'm kind of pissed off about it.
That is so weird. So that guy's unlocked multiplayer. No, I wonder, is there even a way to I wonder if there's a way to even join people? Social.
Well, I turned off
looking at
matchmaking.
friends. Select.
What I like is a friends only.
Okay,
setting.
so I'm gonna try inviting you. Okay, friend invites are currently unavailable. It says,
Alright.
yeah.
That's fine.
And what's
I'm gonna
That
give
is
up
so
on this
weird.
one.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna switch my feeds again.
Too bad. Really weird. And confusing. It says bring cold weather gear. I don't think I have any of that.
I think you get some in this mission if you explore it.
Cool. I'm gonna play as the
So I wouldn't
shirtless
worry
guy.
about it.
Because that's the closest I've gotten.
Yeah. You can also already buy a bunch of currency for stuff,
We've
which
got to find that neural
is always cool. I think someone else ended up joining you, but just at this point you may as well let them.
Oh no,
Why
just as
not?
companion.
Oh, just as companion.
That's
Okay.
AI. We're traveling. Look through all my gear.
Yeah. Yeah, people are talking about what other characters they want to see. I'm gonna look up there was a leak, I guess, for a bunch of characters. Let's see roster.
Oh, I could switch outfits right now if I so chose.
Well, do like a good fedora on the Hulk.
Oh my god, you're right. Wow.
Yeah, so I guess they're adding a bunch of characters according to data miners, so it's always hard to know. But yes, characters like Winter Soldier, Wasp, War Machine, Vision, She-Hulk, Iron Man, Hulkbuster, which I wonder, Doctor Strange, Falcon, Black Panther, Ant-Man. So according to that leak, a bunch of characters are getting added. I wonder how distinct they'll end up being, or if Hulkbuster ends up just playing like Hulk, but it's his special attack is a bunch of missiles or whatever.
But you are able to change your special attacks as it is, right? Within a character?
I haven't done it yet, but maybe I think you might be able to unlock more as you go. If you can, I missed that tutorial. But it definitely seems like the fact that you have these 3 separate powers
Sources nearby.
definitely makes me think that, yeah, maybe you can swap them out at some point.
I heard that.
Let's buy some new abilities. I've got 2 skill points. Where's that grab and throw one you were talking about?
Oh, that was for Miss Marvel.
Oh, okay.
That's after she, like, if she punches someone and it kills them, she can grab them.
That's cool. I am here to level up my grab attacks. But I'm not a high enough level for any of this.
Those seem like the most fun. Yeah, and if you R2 or L2, you'll see a bunch. There are a couple of other trees that I think emphasize like different stats for some abilities. But I don't think you've unlocked those yet, which is weird. It's maybe a little bit of a rough spot to stream just because you don't have access to so much of it so far, but
nearly none of it. Wow. That's a lot though. 3 big old skill trees. I like this. Grab and throw a big old meteor.
And it's basically his Marvel vs. Capcom Super, where he jumps in the air and lands with a meteorite.
That'd be cool. That's the level I want them to get to with the supers in this game.
Yeah, just world-ending stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not a danger to society. Just drops an entire meteor on a city.
It's pretty out here.
Wee.
If you're done observing the scenery,
That's the Hulk's other famous song. It's both somehow Miss Marvel and Hulk's catchphrase is "we." Hulk, have fun, he says.
Aw. Oh, depots are fortified structures found in war zones. Is that what I'm in? Am I in a war zone?
You're in a war zone. 64 Hulks fall onto an island.
if you're curious, there should be an external locking mechanism you
Do you
can
think
use
they'd
to
ever have
open the
PvP
door.
in this game?
Right, like a switch or something.
It'd be weird how that would work, but
Around, Hulk?
I don't think they will. But I could see them like implementing like, okay, here's this weird battle arena, but I can't imagine they'd go too deep on that stuff.
No. I would like to just be able to duel like in an MMO. Just duel a friend.
Yeah, I remember that is in Borderlands. That is totally a feature in Borderlands that I think you use.
Right.
Everyone is required by law to do it once when they're messing around and waiting for one of their friends. And then when they come back, they stop dueling and you never do it again. I think that is how those modes go.
Sorry.
There's 2 switches that you have to hit. Yeah,
Okay. Me and my friend.
that's what I thought. But you can just run it to the other one. You don't have to like. There's no way to command your AI partners. So I wonder if in co-op you do have to do it simultaneously, and then in single player it's just you both have to be.
That's very cool.
There. But I think this is where I got my cryo gear. I don't know if it's like set or if it's randomized like that. But yeah, I wonder. Yeah, it's weird because like they're putting in all these hooks. Like here are the resources that you're using to upgrade to basically play like the Destiny part of this game.
Yeah.
But if you're just looking, if you're not going to invest in that and you're just going to basically be done with the game as soon as the campaign is over, it's this weird thing to throw in as early as they do, where they're just like, okay, yeah, you collect all these resources and swap out your gear. But you don't have to invest in it too much. I can't imagine the campaign, at least at first blush, is going to like require that you look over your damage numbers and think, okay, I need like this gamma gear and this cryo gear, or like invest too heavily in any of that like
Maybe.
MMO kind of stuff.
Maybe on the higher difficulties. There are different difficulties.
I can see that. Yeah.
Which one are you on?
I'm playing on normal, but I think some of the mission, I think you can change the difficulty on a per mission basis. I think.
Right.
Like there's certain ones for sure where you can change it to like challenge 2, which I'm guessing just gets you better gear. But I think so far I'm leaning towards like just kind of enjoying the campaign and maybe not worrying really at all about like, well, I need to make sure that I'm geared up or whatever for
Yeah, just like
raid.
take your time and see if the gear is going to be interesting enough
Yeah.
to get you into it.
So I'm glad that it's been as fun as it is enjoyable, like the story stuff and the action is at that level where it's like, okay, I'm having fun with this. As long as I kind of push out of my mind the idea that like, okay, I need to make sure I'm maximizing all my gear and stuff, and just kind of enjoy it as like, here's a fun romp. I'm having fun with it so far.
Yeah, a fun romp.
I'll need you to get me close to the node so I can disable the disruption.
Okay, let's get close to that node thing, Hulk.
This game does communicate status effects well. You can always see them on the left here, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Even if you like go into rage mode, it just pops up rage. You know, which you can do at any time.
Yeah, it's a little more explicit about telling you what everything does than I think even Destiny, where you kind of just have to go and read after you beat the campaign about like, okay, well, here's what we like. Read up on this wiki to just figure out what it is happening when you do all this stuff.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this is explicitly telling you like, if they keep hitting you with ice stuff, you're gonna freeze unless you have ice gear. But yeah, like again, like with, you just kind of have to spend your disbelief that the Hulk took 5 hits to kill that one guy.
Yeah, instead of turning him into a paste with one
Yeah,
play.
the second he punches him, yeah.
But yeah, I really have not gotten tired of like
Bad.
going towards a ranged enemy, grabbing a piece of debris and chucking it at them just to like stagger them for enough time for you to get there.
Yeah, and like the combos are like, they're not difficult to do, and they're fun to watch happen, you know, and you get enough feedback where you feel like, okay, I've strung this together. It doesn't just feel like I'm mashing. Like Kamala has like a launcher that she can invest in, and you can start doing some air combos that end with like a thing that lands them back on the ground. And even just like, okay, I'm holding my super back for like the stronger enemies. That stuff feels good to do.
Working on clearing up the
Yeah,
signal.
for sure.
Stay within proximity of the security node.
I'm very curious as to how long this is and how they build on that, because it seems like it very slowly wants to introduce you to all of its elements. But I'm curious to see what the end of that kind of unfurling looks like. Like, what does this combat look at the end? Whether like, okay, here's where you have to put everything together.
Oh,
I think you were supposed to stay in that little area,
I see.
and it's like defend that point.
I see. Well, I just wanted to show off the load screens.
Yeah, it is not. It's animated. I'll give it that. It's not just the Bloodborne. Here's a tooltip for 45 seconds. That is a good-looking Iron Man for what it's worth.
Do you think it's making the load screen any longer though?
Oh, for them to have to like render these characters again?
Yeah.
They're just like, look, it's worth it for us to add the like 10 seconds that it would take to get you back into the game, just so that it's more entertaining. But
Right.
I bet it adds like 2 or 3 seconds. I think it'd be weird if they like added a bunch of time, but I could totally see them doing it.
I'm gonna pull up a piece of debris from this crate.
Yeah. This crate of concrete. Oh, wow.
That was a good ricochet.
That thing went flying.
Oh, come on. Come on.
See, these are the types of frustrations that turn people into Hulks.
I'm still getting the hang of this new, like, bigger debris attack I have. I think it's like if I hold right trigger after pressing left trigger. Or at the same time. Curious.
You're an Avenger? Miss Khan, the shield signal is being blocked by...
Yeah, because you think that would be charging up the throw, but that just
I'll
switches it
need
to
you
a
get me
different
close to the
projectile.
node so I can disable the disruption.
Okay, let's get
I like all the juggling.
Yeah, I do like that they just really go cartoonish on the physics. Where
Yeah.
like punching a dude as he's flying. So I think you want to stay inside that circle to like
Right.
basically fill a bar.
Before they do.
Yeah. So like, yeah, those indicators when they're attacking, they look white to me, but I don't know. I wonder if I am colorblind or something. Chat can let me know how weird I am. But like the circle you're standing on, very clearly blue.
Yes, that's what blue
as
looks like
blue
to me.
Yeah, but like all their indicators when they attack you, they all look white to me. Maybe they have a bluish like hue, but if you were to ask me what color is that, I would say white and not blue.
Oh! This is the first time I've been downed.
think Kamala's gonna
Hey, here to help. Oh,
Thanks, Kamala.
down.
Okay, I'm well in the lead with the bar now. Wow, I keep trying to charge up the throw. Get debris instead.
Okay. Alright, there's the big guy. No, you don't have the thunder god. I'd say wait for him to come to you and maybe get some free bar out of it.
Yeah.
And you also get some heal. Yeah, just like DPS from afar. Oh, you're. I think that's just you being frozen.
Yeah. It's the frozen effect. Click regen tax to restore willpower.
Is willpower just their name for health? So I've
It
seen a
might
lot
be.
of stuff talking about willpower, but I'm guessing. I feel like that's just health, right?
Because the green one is like rage meter, right? And that kind of changes depending on
Yeah,
who you are.
the green one. Yeah, I think everyone has a different use for that meter too.
Oh,
There you go. There you go. This is the Hulk.
now this is that Hulk I know.
Yeah.
This looks like a willpower thing. Or no, that was gear. Never mind.
Yo, you need to calm down. That was too angry.
There's not quite enough room here, I feel like. Camera keeps clipping through the stairs.
These enemies must be defeated.
I think so. You've won the meter fight. Now you just need to kill everything.
got this.
Right. Oh. Oh. This game is a
They feel
button
right.
masher.
Yeah, they really. It's. I've been enjoying it, but it definitely feels like I'm not thinking super critically. But like besides like the those guys with shields, you have to do the hold down triangle attack to pierce their shields or do some special move. But
Right.
it has mostly been like, okay, I have this thing where I just mash the buttons. So who am I doing that at?
Right.
That is the most strategic decision, is like prioritizing different enemies, not necessarily like, okay, I need to shoot. It's not like Destiny where you're like, I need to shoot them in the head and make sure that I'm being precise with my attacks.
Right.
It's just
Smart
like,
tactical decisions like that.
yeah, exactly. Versus here, where it's just like you're basically choosing light or heavy attacks.
Yes, for sure. I guess until you get skill trees leveled up. Because a lot of them are just like new combos. From what I've seen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's almost more engaging when there's fewer enemies, right?
Yeah,
doing,
because
like-
you're thinking a little bit more.
Yeah, you have a little more space to do like tactical. Okay, grab this guy, throw him at this other guy. But that fight
Will lead you
was
to the
like,
shield
so many
bunker.
enemies. It was hard to really do anything except try to hit as many of them at once as you
Yeah.
I'm gonna try not to let that freak me out. Let's get out of the cold, Hulk.
So you have a little radar on the side of your screen there, and you're basically trying to follow that
Data
to
remains
some loot.
inconclusive.
can. I love loot.
Well, I have a game for you. It's called Marvel's Avengers. Also, because I've only done one mission in this area, it's like it looks pretty and stuff, but I wonder how often they'll come back here. If this is just like, here's the Pacific Northwest area, and you're gonna be here, and there's like 5 or 6 missions that all kind of use this area.
Yeah. Like, I'm glad I have something to do while traversing, jumping as the Hulk, but I don't really want to do this for an extended period of time. Especially in areas I've already leaped across.
Yeah. I like the idea of the Hulk just like calmly kicking a switch to activate it. So just trying to tear open the facility open with his
Let's
bare
hope that
hands.
neural uplink is inside.
Get you back to yourself in no time, Travis.
I appreciate the sentiment. It is rather unpleasant existing without instantaneous
Oh, come
access
on.
to all the information in the known universe.
Come on.
Come on. Oh. Well, we're in.
Sometimes you do have to smash debris to get through to other places. But only certain characters can do it.
Yeah,
I've wondered
sometimes-
how it's gonna feel to
Not
play
having
certain
enough
missions as certain other
Is it like losing your memory?
characters.
I'm not sure what the human.
Yeah,
equivalent
how
is.
repeatable, because there's a couple of early missions that definitely feel like this is a Hulk
Like when Army
mission.
shuts off the Wi-Fi.
Quite.
So I wonder, can I go back to that mission and play it as Captain America or like Iron Man or whatever?
Yeah, because their traversal is so different for like the traversal sequences. It's Major Panda says, #1 question, are you guys having fun right now? Well, we couldn't play together.
Check out all this.
That's
I'm
been a
having
hamper on
fun.
our fun.
Guess we better start looking.
Talking
you're
with
having
Look for a chest
my
with
friend
gear nearby.
and birthday boy Leo.
Oh, you shouldn't have.
Happy birthday.
To you. Happy birthday to
Day
you.
to you. Happy birthday to you.
Birthday dear Leo. Birthday to you.
Happy birthday. And also many more.
Thanks, man. Yes, it's true. It's my birthday. Yes, it's true. I'm gonna hold L2 to equip best gear.
Yes, it's true. I'm gonna hold L2. Oh, do they have a hold best
The
gear?
neural uplink is
Or
nearby.
use best gear?
They do, yeah.
That's cool.
It's gone now because I am using the best gear, but that's
Because right
good.
now I can't imagine anything besides that big number matters so far.
No.
Maybe the cryo stuff a little bit, but I think you'll probably be set for most of the campaign. If it's anything like Destiny, where you just want that number to be as high as possible, and then later you'll worry about the individual stats.
Do you want a loot game to come out that starts in the end game? Like it doesn't reset at any point. It doesn't change to the real game,
Yeah, that's. I think what was it, Terra? That was basically sort of like that, where it was just. I think that game was just raids. I'm not sure, but I think you kind of have to have some amount of like upfront investment in like, okay, here's the things that are going to teach you the systems, versus like in the middle, like you just have to drop into the end game where you don't know what you're doing, and there's all these like ways that it could play out. I think you need a little bit of funneling, but I would definitely be interested in a game that kind of takes you to that end more quickly.
Yeah. But I wonder how much it's like to appease all parties, right? People who
Yeah.
just want a campaign that's satisfying. And
Yeah,
people
there's
who
that-
want it to last forever.
Like even in Destiny, like the early campaigns definitely felt like, well, we need someone for the people who come to Bungie for Halo, right? And so we're gonna give them a campaign to just like shoot stuff and not worry about MMO stuff. And then once you beat that, you start worrying about like progression and stuff. So
Yeah.
I definitely get the idea that like a lot of these are. Well, in order for this to be successful, we have to have a lot of people playing, and to have a lot of people playing, we need to do something like this.
Protocols you're talking about must be inside.
Oh, vault's open.
Oh, gear!
Who's that gear? That's Hulk's favorite thing. Is putting on more clothes is his favorite thing.
Hulk loot, as he always says. Thanks,
That's right.
Jazira, for gifting the sub. Thanks, Jiggy Diggy, for subbing in your own right. It's a beautiful birthday indeed. Thanks for all the birthday wishes, chat. I'm doing a birthday stream on my personal stream tonight. Twitch.tv/leovader.com. DOTCOM.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Thanks. Chocolatron, thanks for the sub.
There have been a couple times throughout my life where someone had said happy birthday, and I struggled with the impulse to say happy birthday to you too. I have done that more than once. I've never said it, but I had to like hold back the urge to say it, like they're saying, oh, thank you, and me saying you're welcome.
Everybody wants to hear it,
Yeah.
It sucks to only hear it once a year.
Yeah, do something nice for somebody. Tell them it's their birthday on a day that's not their birthday. Hey, you know what, man? Happy birthday.
That's so thoughtful. I was hoping I could grab somebody and just slam them against the wall to do damage.
Nah, they
Slam
just
on
clip
the
on. These robots have clipping technology. They don't collide with walls when held by the Hulk. It's a really specific tech to invest in, but okay.
Be gone!
Yeah, I'm I'm very curious to see like what this looks like with 4 people, because like watching you run around and then in the background is Miss Marvel like also beating people up. That's like what you want out of this game, is to just like, hey, me and my friends are the Avengers and we're all kind of working together to beat up a bunch of bad guys, which is like the
wow. I can't believe you memorized that line from Avengers Infinity War. Yeah. Me and my friends are the Avengers and we're here to basically beat up all these bad guys.
But it's like this feels like the opening scene of like, I mean, like specifically like Age of Ultron was this, where it's just like, here's an extended scene of like the Avengers working together to just beat up random bad guys. There's no like big bad, but it's just like we're just mowing these guys down and doing our business as the Avengers.
Right, more the day-to-day avenging.
Yeah, where it's just like between Thanos's, this is what the Avengers do.
Right, because I've only done one boss fight, and it was the Taskmaster thing from A-Day that we've all seen from pre-release, and I was not impressed.
Yeah, it was okay, but I think a lot of it has to do with you were playing as Black Widow, which, yeah, I'm very curious to see like what her power set ends up being. But she definitely seems like the one I am least excited about playing as.
Yeah, her guns are kind of pea shooters, at least in that boss fight, where it was like you had to shoot a few hundred times. It seemed like.
Wow. Director,
damn, I nailed it.
Got more than we bargained
nice
for,
job.
didn't we, Jarvis?
Except for securing the asset.
Charting a course now.
Well, Hulk is not the asset hero, you don't. I would not trust the Hulk with my assets, is what I'm saying. Either physically or financially. No offense to the Hulk.
Wow. Little harsh.
I'm just saying I don't trust his investment strategies.
Are we going to the next mission now? Can I try to invite you?
I think you're going back to base, but I can see if you. Maybe you haven't.
The Chimera.
And try to log back in here.
Let's see. Yeah, let's give it one last shot. If we can't play together, then we'll just call it there.
All right.
But yeah, I don't know. I measure the quality of a game's combat by how hard I'm clenching the controller and how much I realize I'm kind of like clenching my whole body. In this game, I catch myself clenching a good bit.
Yeah. It definitely, like, so far feels like, okay, it's just challenging enough to where it's not mindless, but I don't have to think too much about working individual heroes or enemies over. So it just feels comfortable.
Thank you, Bruce.
Yeah, that's a good way of
you too, Kamala.
putting it.
With this, I can start rebuilding S.H.I.E.L.D. in earnest. If you ever
I wonder if there's just, if it's like a weird server where if I refreshed the server somehow, it would let me join, but right now it says I can't,
I feel like I should salute or something.
I can't invite people. But you're basically where I am at this point. I think you're gonna have to do maybe a training mission after this to play as. But it's just like a simulation. So I think right now they're looking for Tony Stark, which I haven't found Tony Stark yet.
Okay.
But I think at some point you get thrown into a simulator where you play as.
And that's probably not co-op anyway.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds awesome.
Well, the Avengers.
Yeah, the Avengers. They're avenging.
Is this?
They stay avenging.
Yeah. ABA.
Are you playing this for review for anywhere or just for fun?
No, I'm just playing it to talk about on the podcast tomorrow.
The MinnMax show?
The MinnMax show.
Thanks, Jarvis.
Wow. That sounds like a great program.
Yeah, I just want to plug this that we're doing, this and the main thing we do.
I do want to take the time to plug MinnMax for sure. Check it out if you haven't.
If you don't know about MinnMax, thanks for visiting our channel.
Stay tuned. Reminder, $10 supporters can watch us record that MinnMax show live tomorrow, as well as me editing. We'll be watching that live tomorrow together, all of us. I'll be watching myself do it.
Ooh.
Thanks everybody for watching the stream.
Yeah.
Or watching it archived afterwards on youtube.com.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
You want to get your name or Twitch or YouTube channel in the description of everything we release? Record a podcast with us, put a picture of your choice on MinnMax's TV, or a whole lot more? You can check out the benefits for supporting us on Patreon. If you support MinnMax at any tier on Patreon, you can submit questions or comments for us to read on the air, and you'll also get access to the wonderful MinnMax Discord. We need your help to keep this whole indie trainer rolling, so we'd appreciate it if you checked us out.